Imagine breaking up with someone. You've only been dating for 2 weeks, it's casual, it's fun. You aren't looking for anything serious, and you think they feel the same way. Then, one morning you wake up to a text message. It's angry, it's bitter. It says, "I want you to move in with me now, or we are done." You are confused. You text back, "Whoa, that's moving too fast. I think we should just be friends." A few minutes later, another text comes through. "Fine, I hate you. I'm dating someone else. Don't ever talk to me again. I'm coming to get my stuff." You think, okay, bullet dodged. That was a little crazy, but at least it's over. You go to work. You come home. Her clothes are gone. Her toothbrush is gone. She has vanished. You think that is the end of the story. You think she just moved on. But you are wrong. That text message wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a 4-year descent into hell. For the next 1,400 days, you will receive 50,000 text messages. Your phone will buzz every few minutes with threats. "I'm watching you. I'm going to destroy your life. I hope you die." Your car will be vandalized. Your new girlfriend's house will be burned to the ground. Your life will be dismantled piece by piece by an ex-girlfriend who refuses to let go. The police can't stop her because they can't find her. She is a ghost. She is everywhere and nowhere. But then, a detective decides to look closer at the digital footprint. He decides to look past the angry texts and into the code. And he finds something that makes his blood run cold. He realizes that the woman sending the texts, the woman ruining your life, hasn't touched a phone in 4 years. She hasn't touched a phone because she has been dead since the morning of that very first text. So who is sending the messages? The answer is standing right next to you. The answer is the person holding your hand while you cry about the stalker. This is the terrifying, mind-bending case of the digital ghost. It is a story about how one woman erased another woman from existence, and then wore her digital identity like a skin suit. If you'll think you are safe because you blocked someone, think again. This story will make you want to throw your smartphone into the ocean. Before we unravel this digital web, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You need to see this because in the modern world, the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun, it's a password. Part 1. The Bachelor and the Two Women. Let's set the scene. Omaha, Nebraska. 2012. Dave Kroupa is a newly single dad. He's a mechanic. He's a simple guy. He just got out of a long-term relationship, and he wants to enjoy the single life. He joins an online dating site. He's honest in his profile. "I'm not looking for anything serious." He meets a woman named Shana Golyar. Everyone calls her Liz. Liz is fun. She's quirky. She loves animals. They date for a bit, but there is no spark for Dave. He tells her, "Look, I just want to keep it casual." Liz seems fine with it. She smiles. She says, "No problem. We can just be friends." She hangs around. She stops by the shop. She becomes a fixture in his life, but just as a friend. Then Dave meets someone else. He walks into his auto shop one day, and a woman brings in her Ford Explorer. Her name is Cari Farver. Cari is different. She is smart, beautiful, a computer programmer. She is a devoted mother to a teenage son. There is an instant connection, electricity. Dave asks her out. She says yes. They start dating, and for 2 weeks it is perfect. They spend every night together. Cari is happy. She calls her mom and talks about this new guy. She seems stable, grounded, and excited. On the night of November 12, 2012, Cari stays over at Dave's apartment. He has to leave early for work the next morning. He kisses her goodbye while she is still in bed. He walks out the door. While he is working, he sees Liz Golyar, his friend, stop by the shop. It's a random drop-in. She says she needs to grab something she left at his apartment. Dave says, "Sure, just be careful. I think Cari is still there." Liz walks past Cari in the hallway of the apartment building. They pass each other for a brief second. And that moment ... that crossing of paths ... is the catalyst for a tragedy that no one saw coming. Part 2, The Vanishing. A few hours later, Dave gets the text. The text we talked about in the beginning. Cari demands to move in. Dave says no. Cari breaks up with him and says she is disappearing. When Dave gets home, Cari is gone, and so is her Ford Explorer. He is confused, but he accepts it. But Cari's family doesn't accept it. Cari had a teenage son, Max. She adored him. She would never, ever leave him. But suddenly, Max gets a text from his mom's phone. I'm moving to Kansas. I have a new job. I'll send for you later. Then she blocks him. Her mother, Nancy, gets similar texts. Leave me alone. I'm starting over. Cari misses her father's funeral. She misses her son's birthday. She misses Christmas. For a mother who was so involved, this is impossible behavior. Nancy files a missing persons report. But the police are stuck. Why? Because Cari is still active. She is posting on Facebook. She is updating her status. She is texting people. The police say, look, she's an adult. She has the right to leave. She's clearly alive. She's posting online. There is no evidence of foul play. To the world, Cari Farver had a midlife crisis, abandoned her child, and ran away. Her reputation was destroyed. People called her a deadbeat mom. People called her unstable. But Dave Kroupa wasn't thinking about Cari's reputation. He was thinking about his own safety. Part 3. The Reign of Terror. The texts didn't stop with the breakup. They escalated. Dave started getting 50, 60, 100 texts a day from Cari's number. I see you. I hate you. I'm going to ruin you. But she wasn't just targeting Dave. She targeted the other woman in his life. Liz Golyar? Remember Liz? The friend? Well, Liz and Dave started dating again after Cari left. And Cari was furious about it. She started texting Liz too. I'm going to kill you, whore. She's throwing rocks at my window. Dave felt terrible. He felt guilty. It was us against the world. My house. My house is on fire. Liz's house was burned to the ground. It was horrific. And who was the suspect? Cari Farver. I told you I would burn you down. But the police couldn't find Cari. She was untraceable. Dave Kroupa was living in a state of constant anxiety. He changed his number. Cari got the new one. He moved apartments. Cari sent him a picture of his new front door. He felt like he was being watched by his satellites. For 3 years, this went on. 3 years of psychological torture. Dave lost weight. He got an ulcer. He became paranoid. And through it all, Liz Golyar stood by his side. She was the victim too, right? She lost her house. She lost her pets. Until one day in 2015. Part 4. The Digital Detective. The case had gone cold. The local police treated it as a harassment case with an absent suspect. But then, the case landed on the desk of 2 deputies who refused to give up. Ryan Avis and Jim Doty. They looked at the file, and they saw something strange. They saw a mother who vanished without taking her money. Cari's bank account hadn't been touched in 3 years. Adults can leave, Doty said. But they don't leave their money. They decided to bring in a specialist. A digital forensics genius named Tony Cava. Tony Cava is the hero of this story. He volunteered his time. He dove into the mountains of data, thousands of emails, text messages, and IP logs. Tony started tracing the IP addresses of the emails sent by Cari. He noticed a pattern. Often, the emails were sent from an IP address that traced back to Dave Kroupa's apartment. That made sense. The stalker was watching him. But then, he found emails sent from an IP address in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Specifically, from the residence of Liz Golyar. Wait. Why would Cari Farver be breaking into Liz's house to send emails? Tony looked deeper. He found that almost every time Cari sent a threatening text, Liz Golyar was in the same geographic location. When Liz went to work, Cari was quiet. When Liz went on lunch break, Cari started texting. And then the smoking gun of the digital world. Tony Cava found a specific app called Schedule SMS on one of the devices linked to the account. This app allows you to write a text message now, but send it hours later. This explained how Cari could text Dave while Liz was sitting right next to him, holding his hand without touching her phone. She was pre-programming the harassment. The detectives realized the horrifying truth. Cari Farver wasn't the stalker. Cari Farver wasn't in Kansas. Cari Farver hadn't sent a single text since November 13, 2012. Liz Golyar had killed her. And for the last 3 years, Liz had been carrying around Cari's digital ghost, puppeteering her to harass herself. She burned down her own house. She killed her own pets, just to play the victim. Just to keep Dave Kroupa trapped in a trauma bond. Part 5. The photo in the tablet. The police knew it. But knowing it and proving it in court are two different things. They had no body. They had no murder weapon. They had no crime scene. All they had were IP addresses. In a murder trial, the defense will say, IP addresses can be spoofed. Anyone could hack her Wi-Fi. You can't prove murder without a body. They needed something physical. They executed a search warrant on Liz Golyar's new apartment. They seized everything. Phones, laptops, old cameras. Tony Cava went to work again. He found an old SD memory card inside a dusty tablet. Liz had tried to delete the files. But digital forensics is magic. Tony recovered the deleted images. And there, on the screen, was a nightmare. It was a photo of a human foot. It wasn't just any foot. It had a distinct tattoo. A Chinese symbol. They checked Cari Farver's records. She had that exact tattoo on her foot. But the foot in the photo it wasn't alive. The skin was pale. The blood had pooled. And the photo was time-stamped. November 13th, 2012. The day she vanished. But it got worse. They found another photo. It was a picture of Cari's body, wrapped in a tarp, bound with ropes. And in the corner of the photo, just barely visible was a shoe. A distinctive patterned shoe. The detectives looked through Liz Golyar's closet. There were the shoes. They had her, or so they thought. Part 6. The final desperate act. Liz Golyar sensed the net closing in. She knew the police were looking at her. So she decided to pull one last insane stunt to frame Cari. She called 911. She was at a park. She was screaming, "Help! I've been shot! Cari Farver shot me!" Police arrived. Liz was lying on the ground. She had a bullet wound in her leg. She claimed Cari jumped out of the bush, shot her, and ran away. This was her masterstroke. How could I be the killer if the victim just shot me? But the police were done playing games. They analyzed the gunshot residue. They analyzed the angle of the bullet. It was physically impossible for someone else to have shot her from the distance, she claimed. The burn marks on her pants showed the gun was pressed directly against her skin. She had shot herself. She had literally put a bullet in her own leg to keep the lie alive. Liz Golyar was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Part 7. The Trial of the Ghost. The trial began in 2017. It was a bench trial, meaning no jury. Just a judge. This is rare, but Liz's defense team thought a judge would be more technical and might dismiss the case due to the lack of a body. They were wrong. The prosecutors, led by Brenda Beadle, laid out a timeline that sounded like a horror movie. They explained what happened on that morning in November 2012. Liz Golyar had come back to the apartment. She found Cari there. In a fit of jealous rage or perhaps premeditated coldness, she stabbed Cari Farver to death. Dave was at work. He had no idea. Liz then spent the entire day cleaning the apartment. Then she took Cari's phone. And she made the choice that turned a crime of passion into a crime of pure evil. She decided to become Cari. She texted Dave the breakup text. She texted Cari's mom. She drove Cari's car off the road to hide it. And then she spent the next 4 years living two lives. By day, she was Liz, the sweet girlfriend. By night, she was Cari, the vengeful stalker. The prosecution showed the judge the SD card photos. They showed the IP logs. But the most damning piece of evidence was an email found in Liz's drafts folder. It was an email written by Liz, but addressed to herself, pretending to be Cari. She was literally writing the script of her own harassment. But the most heartbreaking moment came when they revealed what happened to Cari's body. They never found it. But they found evidence on Liz's phone that she had searched for how long does it take a body to decompose in a landfill, and garbage truck schedules. It is believed she put Cari's body in a dumpster, and she is now lost somewhere in a massive landfill, never to be recovered. Cari's mother, Nancy, sat in the courtroom. For 4 years, she had thought her daughter abandoned her. She had been angry. She had been hurt. Now she realized her daughter hadn't left. Her daughter had been stolen. The tears that flowed in that courtroom were not just for the death, but for the stolen reputation. Part 8. The Verdict and the Silence. Liz Golyar sat in the courtroom, stone-faced. She maintained her innocence. She still insisted Cari was alive and out there somewhere. When the judge asked her if she had anything to say, she refused to admit guilt. She played the victim until the very last second. The judge reviewed the evidence, and he delivered the verdict. Guilty of first-degree murder, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Part 9. Why this story haunts us. The case of Cari Farver is unique in the history of true crime. Usually, a murderer kills to silence the victim. Liz Golyar killed Cari Farver to give her a voice. She kept her alive digitally to use her as a weapon. Think about the cruelty of that. She didn't just take Cari's life, she took her name. She took her character. She made Cari's son believe his mother hated him. She made Cari's mother believe her daughter was cold and heartless. She assassinated Cari's character for years after she assassinated her body. And she did it all from a smartphone, sitting on the couch next to the man she claimed to love. It makes you wonder, how well do you know the person you are dating? Dave Kroupa slept next to a murderer for years. He comforted her while she cried about the stalker. He had no idea that the monster was the woman wiping her tears. Dave Kroupa eventually moved away. He lives a quiet life now. He carries the guilt of knowing that his casual dating life led to this catastrophe. But he was a victim too. He was gaslit on a scale that is hard to comprehend. This story is a reminder that in the digital age, seeing isn't believing. Just because you get a text doesn't mean you know who sent it. Just because someone posts a status doesn't mean they are alive. What do you think about the digital impersonation aspect of this case? Do you think technology has made it too easy for criminals to hide in plain sight? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to support the channel and see more deep dives into the most complex and dramatic courtroom stories in history, please destroy that like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next trial.